I thought, just to frame the discussion, let me just share three things that to come to my mind are happening around us very rapidly. So the first part first trend or thing that's happening around us is that costs, in depending on which industry you are in, are growing up, and more importantly, are changing rapidly. So from a point of time when you used to get up in the morning and just look at the Sensex, now you have to look every day at what your interest rate is, and more importantly, now you have to start looking every day in the newspaper to see what your petrol price is for the day, right? So costs are going up. There are pressures on costs, but more importantly, they are becoming more and more variable than they used to be in the past. There's a huge shift that's happening around how business really operates. So what we thought we would try to cover in the discussion in the short time that we have, experiences from this very eminent panel on their thoughts on how this technology change and this cost, how the interplay is happening and what has been their experience. So I would like to then open the discussion, pass the ball over to you, Anil, if you may, to share your perspective and how you are seeing in a business like Bajaj Auto or the industry you are in, this whole thing playing out.
Thanks, Mukul. I think I will start with manufacturing. If you look at in manufacturing, we have for some time looking at a business, in terms of TPM, that is the total productive maintenance. This is a methodology which is a Japanese thing coming from the Japanese Institute of Productivity Management. The focus is on simplifying those processes, actually eliminating most of the processes, and when it becomes very nimble and when it becomes very frugal, that is when you have a chance to better manage it, get better productivity out of it. The latest technologies like virtualization, or in terms of flexibility in that time, how the processing power can be moved around the various applications and try to optimize. So we also have a Bajaj finance as a thing, financing lending. One of the part we do the lending for the two-wheeler, that motorcycles that customers that purchase from us. What is the current situation? It is completely built around, most of the financial institutes, they are built around the concept of checks. We are penetrating into the rural market. Can we get it directly from the customer, the cash? And we worked on the direct cash collection model. And that is where we utilize mobile technology, whereas in the conventional collection system, we talk about 12 to 13% of check bounce. In this kind of method that we have utilized, we work at around 1 to 2% of the bounce. What it means is in both this technology, in terms of the cost, whether you are talking about the back-end cost reduction with the very agile and cost-effective manufacturing system, or very front-end oriented, very agile and productive, cost-effective collection system. I think these are the things. So essentially message is, how can we talk about the system simplification rather than trying to manage the complexity, and that we believe is a key for the cost-effective thing.
Thanks, Anil. So while we are at the element of how it is impacting businesses, and since you covered financial services, so maybe I can ask Suresh, from your experience in financial services, how are you seeing, your executives or your CEO talking about deploying technology to reduce costs?
Well, taking ahead from the topic cost, whichever technology which is sustainable and which is adoptable and which we can able to make it out to ensure that reducing cost, instead of that we can make it as ensuring the business, ensuring the reach of availability and creating the speedy service which will empower to withdraw the cost, and we are able to sustain the rural part. And if you see from the other phenomenon down the line 3 years now, majority of the phases on the economic recession, where we found saying like how better we can take it up to the next level to have this economic expansion, which will have the global impact of ensuring all available services through technology, so that we can empower and ensure the deliverables which can address the business value, which we can correlate to back to the IT, which we can empower it instead of in the long run. One of the recent initiatives was NBFCs getting converted into banks. So which when we sat and discussed with our CEO, unique thought has come, which I already discussed with our partners also. Why not an unique third party who is going to come out with some fixed deliverables, which is going to curtain with all what are governance and regulations from CRISIL, CIBIL, whomsoever it is. And why not the people who are interested in now converting from NBFCs to banks can ride on that infrastructure? Could be unique, could be more materialized when you invest of money. Otherwise, like if you see as NBFCs, every individual, even though if you get a bank license, it's going to make a lot in terms of investment on the day one. Which if you see as a process procedures, how we are empowered, how we are going to get up to the global economic situation so that we can go to the next level without much of infrastructure, which is already available, and without much of information, which is catered to the rural market. The third is what like the data available, which we can take it up to the next level.
How about your perspective, Kumar?
One of the fundamentals that I would like to say or share, I speak from the perspective of the companies who use services like HCL and so on and so forth. Everybody wants to have their own empire of IT, which is quite understandable. Typical argument which we face with IT is that we know what we want, we'll buy what we want, we will negotiate what we want. We don't agree with that concept at all. One of the solutions that we are looking at very seriously is to outsource the entire IT operations, lock, stock and barrel, not bits and pieces, because the outsourced partner, that's his core business, that's his bread and butter, and he's accountable, he will have the service level agreements, which we can question them, periodical reports, so on and so forth. And also, the cost of maintenance will drastically come down. This is our very firm belief, because these companies are holding licenses or holding the partnership, premier partnerships, gold, platinum, whatever it be. So I think I would strongly recommend looking at the possibility as outsourcing in total. I think with that I would like to stop and thank you for the opportunity given. Mine was more from a practical point of view rather than going into technology or whatever it is. But technology, whatever you say, paperless society, each one of us have got dozens of papers with us. So we have to be more practical than talking about technology.
This question is to you and you, Wasim. What do you think is happening on the technology side to help bring down costs inside the data center? The cost, so there is going to be some technology, there is going to be a data center. What's happening there to bring down costs of running that technology?
So if I hear from the users, most of things that commonly we come across is what we hear from our customers day to day. 70% of the IT budget is spent on maintaining the status quo. It's spent on more on paying the AMC or maintaining the servers and the applications or the bug fixes, or put it in a simple word, 70% of the money goes on the keeping the lights on at the data center, whereas the remaining 30% is spent on deploying the new application. Whereas the pressure from the CEO or the business is other way around. They want to spend more money on the new applications, addressing the new business challenges that are coming up. Servers, which are maybe running at only 20, 25% or 30%, how I can go and at least better utilize the existing infrastructure or the computing resources which I have already invested. That's where our virtualization solution comes in play, which does the pooling of the resources, whether it's the computing power or the storage or the network. You will be able to pool the resources and do the better utilization of the resources. So what we have observed is also, though customers started with the objective of reducing the cost, but always they look at it in terms of how I can make my IT agile. Because today the business dependency on the technology is so high. If business need to be agile, then the IT department needs to be agile, your data center need to be agile. That's again addressed by the virtualization and the cloud solution, which helps reduce the time to provision a server or time to deploy an application. So today we call it as a 3-layer strategy from VMware, where we provide solutions in terms of making your infrastructure as a service to unleash the infrastructure or make the infrastructure putting the common pool of the resources and make it available to the multiple applications and the data. And the second, platform as a service, where you will be able to modernize your applications to suit to the today's demand from the customers. and third on the end user computing, how you can virtualize your desktops and how you can offer the software as a services like messaging and collaboration solutions. So all the three layers we provide the solutions to help the customers in optimizing the cost and thus making their IT as an agile environment which leads to the business agility.
Thanks. How about you?
Since we are specifically talking about investments on the data center and savings there, I would like to quote a couple of examples. If you look at the telecom infrastructure, just about a year back, and still the Indian government doesn't allow mixing of the PSTN and the VoIP. So the traditional setup would have two exchanges, one addressing PST, one addressing the VoIP. What we have tried to implement is a unified communication, and now it's being offered by many biggies like Microsoft, Cisco is offering it, Avaya offers it, which essentially means that a single PBX can be utilized to connect both your PSTN and VoIP network. The other example I wanted to quote was actually linked to virtualization. We had around 450 servers in the organization. CapEx was still an issue, so we couldn't do all the 450 in one shot. What we did is we identified 200 servers which were almost 4.5 years plus old. The idea was to squeeze the max of the investment we have already made. For these 200 servers, we went on with virtualization. We have virtualized it on 10 boxes, and we have really seen the fruits where it's not only the power which is being utilized by the servers, but we have actually seen the air conditioning consumption also come down. In today's scenario, any technology or solution which increases the efficiency or productivity offered by partners is welcome.
I would request the audience, if you have, if any of this discussion has triggered some questions in your mind that you would like to pose to the panel.
I'm Commander Sharma from the Western Naval Command. I'm in charge of the Command Information Technology in the Western Command. Listening to your interesting discussion, a lot of questions rose in my mind. Bigger question is that we are scattered. We have got mobile units, the ships of the Navy. We have got certain data centers which are, the high security regions, and we have got our general technical and administrative network. The second thing is, do we require a global cloud for our Western Command? Thought for you, which we can work towards to find a better solution for the Western Command.
First thing to put it in a nutshell is that since it's being the naval command and a lot of confidentiality and the security issues are involved, first you need to take a call in terms of what are the applications or the workloads which you can virtualize and move it to the cloud. And as you rightly said, it may be your own cloud, which can be a private cloud, so it can be made as a completely secure. And the second part is the management part of it, how you can make it as a centralized management. Just to answer it very simply, we have done the similar one with American Navy, where they have gone for the virtualization with us. We can share that and work with you on this.
I want to take this opportunity to thank all the panelists. I think we covered a couple of very good points, both from starting with process simplification to good housekeeping. I mean, the point that you made that, look back at your infrastructure and optimize it. We looked at technologies. And of course, Kumar said, if nothing else works, just take more discount from your vendor, right? So thank you everybody, and look forward to interacting with you.